Welcome to something short and sweet in the Parsha. This week, Parshas Mishpatim. Reuven and Shimon were boyhood friends. They went to school together. They played together. They learned together. And they went into business together. That was their mistake. And sure enough, and soon enough, they got into a huge fight. And they weren't talking to each other. And things went from bad to worse. When one would see the other, they would walk the other way. It was really, really bad. One day, Reuven was setting out on a trip. The business that they had started together that now had split up was they were donkey drivers. They hauled packages from cities to city. And he set out on one day and he loaded up his donkey and he was transported to another city. He didn't realize how hot it would be. Maybe he overloaded the donkey. He gets out of the city and his donkey's falling under the load. It's too hot. There's too much weight. And within a short amount of time, the donkey is on the ground, under the packages, all tied up with the ropes that were tied up the packages. Reuven himself is tired and he's hot and he can't deal with this and he can't right the situation. He sits down praying for help, praying for shade. He looks up and he sees somebody coming in a distance. He is so thankful, he can't believe it. Heaven sent. And the truth is, it was heaven sent. But it wasn't what he was looking for. As the fellow got closer, he realizes it's Shimon. Shimon seeing a person in distress. He comes running. He's schlepping his donkey along. Let's go help this guy. But he gets in close proximity to Reuven, and he sees it's Reuven. Exit stage right. He's out of there. He starts walking away. And all of a sudden, he says to himself, I can't do that. The Torah tells me that I have to help. And then he questions himself. The Torah tells me, where does the Torah tell? What are you talking about, Shimon? And he says, answers himself. He says, yeah. You see the donkey of the one you hate, struggling, crouching under his load. You're not going to help? Azov ta'azov imo. Help him. So Shimon says, oh, I have to turn around. I have to help him. I don't want to, but I will. And that's what he does. So he turns around and he walks towards Reuven. Reuven can't believe his eyes. And he's half happy and he doesn't know what to make of it. But Shimon starts helping him and Reuven joins in. And they pull the packages, the loads off of the donkey. And then they start rearranging it. They're tying and they begin to help each other. And after a few minutes, they're able to rearrange things and get the donkey on his feet. It's ready to go. Shimon looks over at Reuven and says, pretty good work we did. Reuven, he says, thank you. Then out of Reuven's mouth, he says, you know something, maybe we'll go to the next city together, we'll have lunch. And Shimon agrees. The rest is history. A pasuk in Chumash. Shimon had inculcated a pasuk in Chumash. And that righted the situation. Today, 25th day of Shavat, 2023 is the 140th Yahrzeit of Rabbi Yisroel Salanter. Rabbi Yisroel Salanter was a revolutionary. One of his great teachings in the context of the Musar movement, which he started, was the inculcation of Torah ideals. Not just to learn it and leave it in the books, but to inculcate it. It's an interesting phenomenon that it's possible for a person to learn something and leave it in a theoretical place in his mind and not say, what about me? You know, the great Ramban, he wrote a letter to his son when he was going to Yisroel. It's a wonderful letter, all about character traits, about humility, about getting over anger. Very important, great ideas. And at the end of that letter, he says, my son, when you get up from a sefer, see to it that there's something that you can be Mekayim, something that you can fulfill. And you have to wonder, why else do you learn? We learn in order to do. Lilmod amanas la'asos. That's why we sit and learn. The Ramban has to tell his son, when you get up from the sefer, see to it. Is there something that you can put into practice from what you learned? But that's human nature. We learn it. It's a nice idea. It's very important. And then more often than not, people just go and behave as they do. Rabbi Yisroel Salanter taught us that we need to focus on our learning. We needed to inculcate it. It should be a part of us. It should be something that we relate to. And when we do, we become Torah Jews. We fulfill the dictates of the Torah. We get over the jealousies, the angers, the hatred that at times as human beings that we have. And life is completely different. We owe a great debt of gratitude to Rabbi Yisroel Salanter for his teachings. Let's go back to our learning. When we do Shnayim Mikra, we review the Parsha every week, we listen to the Leinim. And let us say, what about me? Maybe I should review this Parsha again and again. How does it relate to me? We do that, our lives are edified, and we become greater Torah Jews. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good Shabbos.